AST SpaceMobile, AT&T, Verizon, EchoStar, DishNetwork, HughesNet, OmniSpace, all coming for Elon Musk's SpaceX Starlink. How does it all turn out? Let's talk about it. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much once again joining me for tea time. Today, we have a little bit of misty morning, and that is it. Clean, refreshing. I hope you're joining me with your cup of tea, maybe a cup of coffee, hanging out, talking tech, talking photo, talking video. Today is a technology day. We're going to be talking about this direct onslaught of Elon Musk's SpaceX Starlink. Their competitors are trying everything under the sun to try to compete with SpaceX Starlink when it comes to DTC service, which is direct to cell service, meaning that you can go outside with an unmodified cell phone, pick it up and make a call, and you don't even have to be in even a close or even a vicinity of a cell tower. It will simply use a satellite overhead as your connection. So right now, SpaceX has about 100 satellites that do this DTC service that are basically cell towers in space. They have these E-Node Bs built into them that allow them to turn into cell towers in space. And they've been working out really, really well. And once again, the competition is starting to get a little bit crazy. All right. They've been filing lawsuits. They've been filing all sorts of papers with the FCC to try to put a kibosh on Elon Musk SpaceX's Starlink DTC service. So I was reading a couple articles over on Space News and a couple other places. I want to share a little portion of a couple of these with you because it was really good information and we get an idea of what is going on and will they be successful or not? And that's really the big thing. Do we think that SpaceX Starlink is going to prevail with the FCC and get their, let's say, agenda to go through? Or will all of these other companies, like I alluded to in the beginning of this video, you have AST SpaceMobile, you have AT&T, Verizon, you have EchoStar, which owns HughesNet as well as DishNetwork, and you have OmniSpace, all going against Elon Musk SpaceX Starlink. It's kind of crazy, right? These are mega billion. I mean, if you put all of their values together, you got like probably $1 trillion. Who knows? You got just a ton. These are major corporations that have just crazy amounts of money. And we know in business, in most cases, the company or the person with more money or with better attorneys usually wins. It doesn't really matter who's right. You ask any attorney, they'll tell you the same thing. Who's right is just simply semantics. It really doesn't matter, all right? That's not a good thing, but it is absolutely factual. So I want to get into this article. I want to hear from you. What do you think about all this? What do you think is going to happen? Will SpaceX Starlink with Elon Musk prevail, or will all of these other entities end up just making it so rough, so difficult that Elon Musk SpaceX ends up failing? I would like to know from you, what do you think about this? Anyways, before we get into this article, I want to say that if you enjoy this content, even the least, consider giving a thumbs up. It's free. It would help out a lot. I would really appreciate it. And if you have not, as of yet, subscribed, consider doing so. And if you have, thank you. I appreciate that. Click this little notification button over here so when I go live or when a new video comes out, you will be notified of it immediately. And if you haven't downloaded any of my ebooks, check them out. They're free. Just for you being here, go to JCristina.com/books. Also, if you just want to say thank you for all of my hard work, there's a little thank you button down here. You can give $1 or $2 if you want. If not, it's perfectly fine. The video is free anyways. Consider becoming a member of the channel. That would be even better. And finally, if you want more Starlink content, over the last 40 months, I've produced about 320 or so videos just on SpaceX Starlink. Helpful how-tos, tips, tricks, what to buy, what not to buy, how to use it. The most important thing is the why behind it all. That's what this channel is always about, the why. So you can click on here. Don't do it yet. Click on here when you're done watching this video and you can see more SpaceX Starlink coverage. So let's jump right into this article. And then once again, I want to hear from you down below. That's the most important thing. If you don't want to write anything, that's fine. Put a little emoji down there so I know that you actually listened. That would be awesome. So it starts out by saying AST SpaceMobile has started producing parts for 17 larger direct-to-smartphone, or it's actually DTC, satellites after taking advantage of its soaring stock price to raise more capital for the broadband constellation. If you didn't know it, their stock went through the roof. It went up like 50% just last week. I'll tell you about that in just a second. Crazy. I wish I had some money in there. The venture said that it had over $288 million in cash as of June 30th, up 35% on the prior quarter despite production costs, thanks to an investment from Verizon and selling shares that rocketed after AT&T partnered with the cell operator earlier this year. Abel Avalon, AST SpaceMobile CEO, said in an August 14th earnings call with investors that the first block of 17 Block 2 Bluebird satellites would be ready to launch in the first quarter of 2025. So we're looking still a ways down the road. A Block 2 Bluebird would be about 223 square meters in size. It's pretty big. Significantly larger than its first Block 1 Bluebird, with solar arrays spanning 64 square meters. Block 1 and Block 2 Bluebirds are based on AST SpaceMobile's 2-year-old Blue Walker 3 prototypes in LEO. I talked about the Blue Walker 3. This was last year sometime, which the venture said has achieved more than 21 megabits download speed during tests with standard unmodified smartphones. While 5 Block 1 Bluebirds would be enough to cover the entire United States from LEO, the company said that it needs 45 to 60 satellites for continuous text, voice, and data coverage in the country. AST SpaceMobile ultimately plans global coverage via partnerships with other mobile operators. The Federal Communications Commission, or the FCC, granted AST SpaceMobile conditional approval August 5th to deploy and operate 5 Block 1 Bluebirds slated to launch in the first half of September. That's just a few weeks away. However, AST SpaceMobile said talks with the FCC are ongoing after the regulator deferred deciding whether to grant the company's permission to test the service with cellular frequencies it hopes to use in the United States. Kind of on hold, right? The FCC also deferred a decision on AST SpaceMobile's plan to operate an additional 243 satellites to improve coverage. Along with the direct-to-device, or DTC, direct-to-cell competitors SpaceX and Lynk Global. Now, Lynk Global is LYNK Global. AST SpaceMobile is also awaiting permission to provide commercial service to standard smartphones in the United States. So there's a lot of people that are in line with the FCC, the Federal Communications Commission, to be able to offer this service. Remember, Apple has already been connected with Globalstar, I believe it is, and they are offering this service for the last couple of years. These are just all new people on the block in comparison to Globalstar. Now, will, for example, SpaceX's be a lot better than Globalstar? Yeah, because Globalstar satellites are sitting, I believe, in MEO, maybe even GEO, at like 36,000 kilometers compared to SpaceX's that are sitting really low in LEO at, let's say, 550 kilometers. So no matter what, the Globalstar, or what Apple is currently using, will only be a texting type of emergency service. You're not going to be able to do voice calls or any type of video, any type of data with those. It's just simply too far away. The latency will be just horrible. Anyways, I digress. AST SpaceMobile shares closed up 50.7% to $31.36 August 15th on the NASDAQ. That is a big, once again, a major jump, 50% increase. I know you wish that you bought some of those shares. That is just crazy. Now, I was reading another article, right? And it's kind of a, let's say, complementary to this article. And it tells a little different story of what's going on. And it shows how these companies are just trying to get their fangs into SpaceX Starlink. And the reason being is they know that they're going to be a major competitor. And they've been doing this for a while. And I talked about this even at the beginning of the year when we heard all about these filings and this lawsuit and another filing with the the FCC and so on and so forth. This article talks about AT&T and Verizon. So now we're going to add Verizon into the mix, even more billions and billions and billions of dollars going after Elon Musk's SpaceX Starlink. It says this, it says AT&T and Verizon are urging telecom regulators to reject a key part of SpaceX's plan to offer cell service to T-Mobile, claiming that the satellite system will interfere with and degrade service for terrestrial mobile broadband networks. Now, they've been making this claim for a long time, and now they're reiterating it, changing it up a little bit and refiling it. Anyways, filings urging the FCC, or the Federal Communications Commission, to deny SpaceX's request for a waiver were submitted by AT&T and Verizon this week. The plan by SpaceX Starlink's division also faces opposition from satellite companies EchoStar, which once again owns Dish and HughesNet, and OmniSpace. We talked just about this. SpaceX and T-Mobile plan to offer supplemental coverage from space, or SCS, supplemental coverage from space, for T-Mobile's cellular network using SpaceX's satellites. As part of the plan, SpaceX is seeking a waiver of the FCC's rules regarding out-of-band emission limits. AT&T said that SpaceX's request, quote, ninefold increase to the allowable power flux density. Power flux density. Sounds like Doc in, I don't know, Back to the Future or something. Anyways, power flux density limits of out-of-band emissions, quote, would cause unacceptable harmful interference to incumbent terrestrial mobile operators. Incumbent terrestrial mobile operators. This new guy on the block, SpaceX, they're going to hurt us. And if this Starlink thing goes through, we're just not going to make our billions. It's a problem. Let's fight it. And that's what they're doing. Specifically, AT&T's technical analysis shows that SpaceX's proposal would cause an 18% average reduction in network downlink throughput. I've heard this before. I think so have you. Verizon's opposition to the waiver request similarly said that SpaceX's proposal, quote, would subject incumbent, once again incumbent, primarily terrestrial license operators in adjacent bands to harmful interference. Wireless phone performance will suffer. So, basically what this all means, and like I said, we've heard this all before. We've heard this like 6 months ago, and this has been an ongoing saga. It's just what's happening here is we're just adding people to the mix. Like I said at the beginning of this, we originally started out, we had the first lawsuits that like came out, or filings came out by, I think, Global Star, and that was kind of going back and forth. And then we started seeing EchoStar getting involved, which EchoStar owns DishNetwork as well as HughesNet. They were getting involved. And then at that same time, OmniSpace piggybacked on with EchoStar, and they were going after Elon Musk's SpaceX Starlink. Now we're seeing AST SpaceMobile, AT&T, and Verizon. I mean, you could just make an entire list of like every terrestrial provider out there is going after Elon Musk's SpaceX Starlink, and rightfully so. Because if you think about it, and I said this at I said this months and months, probably a year or so ago. Once SpaceX offers service that is a non-terrestrial based service that does not require any cell towers, doesn't require, because the cell towers are on LEO, right? They're up in space. They're at 550 kilometers. Once they do that, I mean, it's pretty much game over. Just think about it. Think about it. That means that you could be in any location. I don't care where it is. It could be like literally in the Antarctic somewhere, and you're going to be able to pick up an unmodified cell phone and make a call. All right? No cell company can offer that service. There's no way. You're not going to put cell towers in the Antarctic. It's just not going to happen, right? That's number one. Number two, since these satellites are so low, and that's why we're seeing all of these other companies trying to put their satellites in LEO also, because they know companies like Global Star, which is currently with Apple, sitting all the way up in MEO, or I think it's even GEO at 36,000 kilometers, they're too far away. All right. They're only ever going to be able to offer text type of emergency service. And that is it. All right. It's just simply too far away. So by all of these other companies using LEO, just like we see Elon Musk SpaceX is doing, it's going to end up being good for them. That is if they can actually make it happen. Now, these satellites, the last time I read something on this is they said that in one cone that this company, this AST SpaceMobile, their Block 2 Bluebirds or whatever, is only going to be able to hold like about 4 of these satellites in there because they're so big and bulky. So I don't know how many they're going to be able to get up there in the course of the next, let's say, 6 months, because they said by next year they're going to be offering service based on 17 being up there, with 40 or 50 satellites needed to be able to give full coverage, that is phone as well as texting and data to everyone in the US. I mean, that's going to be a while. But we see that AST is making a ton of money on hopes and dreams because it's not there yet, right? It's getting there, but it's not there yet. So all of these investors are hoping, right, that these type of filings and any type of litigation or anything that can just slightly put the kibosh on Elon Musk, SpaceX, Starlink's SCS or DTC or direct to cell offering. I mean, I really don't think that this is going to happen. I think it's going to be really difficult for them to be able to prove that there is a problem. The reason I say that is because way back when EchoStar as well as OmniSpace put in filings with the FCC stating that Elon Musk SpaceX's DTC, direct to cell service, was going to somehow impede upon them with noise, as they call it, well, it was proven to be absolutely false. Now, these other companies are saying the exact same thing. Will they be able to prove that it is actually factual? I don't know. Like I said at the beginning of this video, it always comes down to how much money you have and how good are your attorneys. How much are you paying those attorneys? The company that has more money and that has better attorneys almost certainly wins. Right or wrong, it is facts. That is the court of law anywhere. Okay, I don't even care. If you are someone that doesn't have a lot of means and you are sued by a large corporation, the chances are you will lose. And if you try to fight it, they will bankrupt you because they will put in filing upon request to absolutely stifle the process and draw it out for so many months or maybe even so many years that you will go out of business and they will see you in bankruptcy court. Okay? That's how the law works, right? Is it fair? No. But once again, the guy with the most money or the company with the most money and the best attorneys wins 90% of the time, maybe even more. Every once in a while, you will find this anomaly where you'll see David going against Goliath and David actually wins with that single toss of a stone. But it very rarely happens. Very rarely happens. So we'll see what ends up happening with this. I want to know what you think about this. All of these companies, once again, now we're seeing Verizon too, that are added into the mix. What do we have here? Let's get that list together. AST SpaceMobile, AT&T, Verizon, EchoStar, DishNetwork, HughesNet, and OmniSpace. All going after Elon Musk, SpaceX Starlink. What do you think? What do you think will be the outcome here? Down below, let's hear from you. And if you don't want to write anything down there, like I said before, throw an emoji or some kind of, I don't know, put a poop emoji or put a rocket ship or satellite or just anything down there so I know that you actually listened. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have, throw it a thumbs up. That would be awesome. Tell your friends and family and colleagues to watch the channel. That would be awesome. Let's get this channel even bigger. Let's grow it. Let's grow this channel. Finally, head over to my website, JCristina.com, where you can find all the photography tools I've invented for you and me over the many years, and my shirts like this one, tees, my books, all of my products. Check them out. All the merch. If there's something that you like, consider picking it up and help me and my family. That would be awesome. Many blessings to you and your family. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay connected. We'll see you in the next one. Love you all.